Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Music Rating, Ranking, and Reviewing podcast, what I like to call Music Meltdown, to rate, rank, and review any artist's discography, songs, musical topic, really whatever comes to mind. This episode, we're going to be continuing the Album of the Year series, going from 63 into 64. Evidently, you're seeing the album period growing a bit more. You're seeing more of the heavy hitters of the 60s coming into play. You get your debut Kinks, Rolling Stones, I believe the Hollies start out here. Simon and Garfunkel, ton of debuts here from really acclaimed artists, and as well some mainstays. You got Dylan releasing stuff. I think Otis Redding still here. The Last of Sam Cooke. Plenty of really cool stuff this year. Just before things would start to break wide open in 65, but you still got plenty of interesting material here. Andrew, any thoughts about 64? Because I know that you mentioned this was the one that you needed to deep dive the most whenever I brought this up to you.
Yeah, well, I guess the later parts of the 60s, I already know so well, whereas this period, it's tended to be more song-based for me. So, coming up with the correct album picks and having done a deep dive for 63. So that kind of left 64 and this kind of in between. But yeah, I think it's a nice step forward, not as huge of a leap as some of the ones we'll see to come, but it's a good year and really cool top five. And I guess with like British Invasion, you really see kind of the shift starting to happen, even if it hasn't fully gotten there yet.
I as well think this is where Motown really starts coming into their own. Ton of great Motown stuff this year. For example, on my number 6 being Pain in My Heart by Otis Redding, just missing out. With that being said, my top 5, however, is going to be at number 5, my previous winner, The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan. Beautiful title song, just a really great sort of political statement from Bob. Really great songs here. Title track, of course, many others. I think that this one runs a little long. It doesn't utilize its length as well as freewheeling, but overall, it's still an incredibly strong listen with songs like With God on Their Side, Only a Pawn in Their Game. Plenty of great stuff on here. Going from there, a record that I don't think many people would expect me to like that much, given I don't like the Beatles' early period that much. They have Stay with the Hollies by the Hollies. Really, I think that they are the apex of that beat, sort of British Invasion sound. I think that they're all really strong writers at this point. The playing is really great. And they're just fun kind of rock records to throw on. Talking About You, Mr. Moonlight, Rockin' Robin, Candyman, Little Lover, just a lot of really fun stuff on here. Really enjoyable to put on. Another one that comes from an artist I'm not most familiar with and that I don't love, but I have all summer long by the Beach Boys. Really, when the Beach Boys kind of start to come into their own and really start to showcase themselves as high talents. Of course, I Get Around all summer long, the title song. Are the highlights here. Don't Back Down is really good. So there are really fun stuff on here and just a really enjoyable. As you mentioned before, Surf Rock was pretty big in the year before, but this is a really fun one there. My top 2 are both 4.5 stars. They are my runaway winners of the year. And it's really tricky for me which one I pick. But at number 2, I have Where Did Our Love Go by the Supremes. Just a really lovely record. Diana Ross, obviously a brilliant singer, but I love the Supremes backing vocals and harmony vocals with her as well. Where Did Our Love Go, Run, 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 Come See About Me, Long Gone Lover. Just it's 30 minutes of basically Motown bliss, and it's an incredibly enjoyable record. But my winner is going to be one that I've already talked about before, being Ain't That Good News by Sam Cooke. Really the apex of him as an artist, having that amazing soulful sound with the enormously powerful vocal deliveries, just with some really great material here. The title track, of course, A Change Is Gonna Come, Tennessee Waltz, Falling in Love. There's just so much excellent material to be found across this record, and it really does just showcase that Motown are really being able to put out the heavy hitters that they'll have later on in the decade, with this being their truly first smash out success. This and Where Did Our Love Go? So winner for 1964 for me going to be Ain't That Good News by Sam Cooke.
Very nice. We will have a couple in common somewhere. Would have been nice to get in that Sam Cooke record. So spoiler, it doesn't quite make it for me, but yeah. It's and he wouldn't have much more because I think he died this in 64, right? So
Yep, that's his final.
shame. Yeah.
That's his final proper release, but he has a couple posthumous.
Yeah. So for me, my runner-up was Wish Someone Would Care by Irma Thomas. A lot of people might not know this one, but this is an offering from like this underappreciated solo artist back in her day. She's got some really cool songs there that you don't hear too often. But my number 5 is one that you mentioned and spoke well of, Where Did Our Love Go by the Supremes. This one's a pretty landmark Motown record, a genre that really thrived in the singles game, but here you get a lot of the classics in one place and some solid supporting cuts too. So yeah, really good one there. Number 4, this is probably maybe the most surprising pick for me, not because of the group, but just because of which one I'm picking. Wednesday Morning 3 a.m. by Simon and Garfunkel. And it was easy enough to dismiss this one at first, given what was to come, but I found this one really growing on me to the point where I now have really a huge appreciation for their whole discography. Obviously, there's the original acoustic Sound of Silence here. Bleecker Streak is excellent, really nice title track. Sun is Burning is a haunting cover. This one has 1 foot more in the traditional folk sound, but with their blend of vocals in this tight half-hour package, sounds pretty good to me. So yeah, I like that one. And number 3 is another one you mentioned, All Summer Long, Beach Boys. They're less kind of one that's fully in the fun in the sun style, but it's their most accomplished of that. Outside of a couple short filler tracks, it's loaded with this radio-ready vocal surf songs. Everybody knows I Get Around. The title track is brilliant. And then you get a deeper cut like We'll Run Away that hints at directions to come, like Wouldn't It Be Nice? Production and vocals for them continue to develop into what was ahead. So yeah, really, really good record there. Number 2 is Presenting the Fabulous Ronettes, featuring Veronica by the Ronettes. It's grabs that baton from the previous year's Christmas record, and this time it's just the one act of them doing their thing. This is pretty much the pinnacle of the girl group wall of sound combination. We're 5 deep in with top 40 hits here, and including one of the all-time greats of its era with Be My Baby. But number 1, we'll go to Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. And this one, I think, is especially in having, like, its strength is having consistently nice quality throughout. It's originals, some hits that just about everybody knows, and lovely deep cuts. It's typically in the conversation as a stepping stone, and the album is like this unifying concept. And I think it's just kind of like each track having its place makes the difference there. So that will edge out the win there for me. Hard Day's Night.
Nice. Yeah, definitely the best of their sort of early era. Really nice that you called out Simon and Garfunkel, though. I only have them in a 3.5, but there are some just totally 5-star songs in there. Really like that one a lot. And yeah, tons of really, really good material across that year. It's just a shame that it's kind of lost in the shuffle a bit, I would say, given after this you have 65, in which you kind of have the Beatles, the Beach Boys opening up. You have some really killer Motown stuff. Oh, even the Stones and the Who start out. Have a forgotten Bob Marley debut that isn't very good. But yeah, plenty of stuff in 65 that's going to be great to see come, but don't sleep on 64 because they got some highlights. That being said, really hope that you enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for this next part, which will be probably when things start to really diverge from the both of us and where things start to get a bit more fun. So I hope that you enjoyed and you have a great one.